Good morning, everyone, and welcome to LTEL Cockerel. LTEL is getting old. LTEL is getting old.
Hey, Cobber.
Good morning. Sorry, good evening, David. How are you? Oh, David's been and gone. David's been and gone. Yeah, morning, everyone. I hope you're well. Yes, today's my birthday. Yeah, one day older. 56 today. Born 2 years to the day that England won the World Cup. So England won the World Cup on my birthday, but 2 years prior to me being born. So it just goes to show how old I am. David's popped back in again.
2 years prior to me being born.
Sorry, buddy.
How old?
How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm good. Happy birthday to you, you old bugger.
Thank you very much. That's very sweet of you. I expected nothing less.
Old bugger from by 2 years. You're a good man.
Old bug, but I'm just you're too kind with your words.
Nah, you're a good fella. You've been a great backstop to me. And
Oh,
I don't mind letting everyone know. This man's a treasure.
thank you very much for them kind words. Oh,
That's all right. You can pay me later.
well, there's a lot of people I've got to pay them. I tell you what, you're in a long line of people.
Yeah, you're a good man, Jose.
Thank you very much, sir. So how are you today, David? How's everything? It's your evening now, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going all right, Jose. I'm loving the juniors, mate. The juniors, geez, they're so mature. I'm a happy clapper, I know, but our Aussie rules too. We have a lot of juniors, and but these boys, this Archie and well, I reckon they're going to spur us on. Happily so, as well.
I will say though, David, that I've woken up this morning. Obviously, there's no Tottenham news again. I didn't think when I set up the stream, and I didn't think, obviously, because I know my birthday's never going to change; it's always going to be the same day. And I did not think that we would be in the position that we are today, where we haven't signed any further players. And I've got to be honest with that. It's all right signing who we've signed so far, but I thought we might have even made inroads to signing a few more. We're getting rid of players. We're getting rid of players, which is all good as well because we needed to do that. But we're just not getting players in, and it seems to be that the same kind of people that that reported 3 weeks ago, they were
Yeah.
saying Tottenham are going to definitely bring in three high quality players, right? The same people that were saying that 3 weeks ago are now saying that Tottenham are looking to bring in just one more attack minded player. So is it lazy journalism, or is it that nothing's coming out of the club and therefore you're getting two different stories 3 weeks apart? Because the moving parts of stock, because we'd already bought Graham Bergvall by then and Werner when they were talking about three players 3 weeks ago, and now they're only talking about one.
I reckon there's nothing coming out of the club. There's a mixture of both. I'm a little bit worried that they're satisfied with Archie and Bergvall, to be honest. But I don't think we're going to get the leaks out of the club that we've had previous.
Fair enough. Right, let me just say hello to Peter.
Sorry to put a
Pigayas.
downer on it, but
No. We're here to talk about it. Also, you've got Peter
yeah,
Pigayas saying hi, all 7:15 in Melbourne. So he's put this on before the show
big up,
started.
PK.
I hope you're well, Pete. Mark Cook, big up, Jose. Have a great stream. Thank you, Mark, and thank you for the
Hey,
birthday
good.
message this morning. Barry Easthope, good morning, Barry. He says, "Happy birthday, Jose. You're still young. I'm 70. Fair play to you, Barry." And it
Well
started
done,
to,
Barry.
and he said it started to worry him. And that can be fair comment, because I did say that I was going to rate this at the end of the transfer window. And I said that all along. But where we sit now, in all honesty, I'm just like, okay, fair enough. We are where we are. But are we likely to get anything more done? I mean, it's still a whole month. Today's the 30th of July, and I think the window closes on the 30th of August. So there's still a whole month for things to happen.
So when we have in Australian rules, we have a pre-season transfer window and end of year transfer, and it all gets done in the last 2-3 days, right at the end of the season, and you get all the innuendo and all the speculation. So,
but Tottenham have been accused in the past of waiting
big up AJ.
Of waiting till the end of the window and having no plan.
Yeah,
that's what we've been accused of in the past, of waiting till the end of the window and having having no plan and then buying players right at the end of the window who are opportunistic, maybe not the right player, forced to make buys and stuff like that. Now, this time round, it's not only the club that's been saying it, but I've been saying it all along that we have a plan. There should be a plan in place. Now, Postecoglou did speak about 3 days ago, was it? And he turned around and said that all the targets that they're going for are still there. We're still on transfer plan A, if you like. Now, as I said, the journos that were talking 3 weeks ago about 3 more signings and big money signings, and Tottenham have got money to buy in this window. They're the ones that are now coming out saying Tottenham are only buying 1 more attacker. Now, when we're talking attacker, is attacker a forward? So let's say someone like Eze. I'm not saying Eze, we're getting Eze, but if I was to say Eze, is Eze an attacker or is he a midfielder?
he's a midfielder.
Okay.
Who is in competition with Maddison.
Right, okay, so he's a midfielder. So therefore, if we're being linked with Tony, Chiesa, Neto, right?
Forget Neto. We're not going to get Neto. We're going to get Neto 50 million compared to Chiesa.
No, all I'm saying is, if we're looking, I'm asking, the question is if we're linked with Neto, Chiesa, and Tony, we're linked with Neto, Chiesa, and Tony, would you say all 3 of those are attackers?
Yeah, well, Tony's an outright striker, and Chiesa can play across the top 3. Curley's put a bit of a spin into the mix, has he? Is he good enough to be a false 9?
I said this. Obviously, I said the other day that you can have many strings to your bow, or you can add many strings to your bow, and that would be just another string playing him as a false 9. But
gives options, doesn't it?
What I'm getting at is that we've been linked with so many players. Yeah. If now the in the knows are all saying we're only getting 1 attacker, then but 3 weeks ago we were getting 3 players. Now it's just 1 attacker. You just don't know where we are, and we don't, as a club, we don't know where we are.
No, we don't.
And it does get frustrating at times.
It's not ideal being this late in the. Don't get me wrong. Not saying they're right. It's not ideal getting these players in so late.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
AJ says, "Big up Jose, happy birthday, fella. Big up David Cobber."
Yeah, big up AJ.
Barry says, Levy needs to get his finger out. Scott Colliver, good evening to you, Scott, because you're down under as well. Says, happy birthday, Jose. Thank you very much.
Aussie.
And then you've got Barry Easthorpe says, apparently Chiesa wants to go to Man United and Gallagher as well.
I don't care about Gallagher. I'd rather get Morgan Gibbs-White in, actually. If we were going to get an out-and-out midfielder, Morgan Gibbs-White. I've said that for the last 2 years. He's so progressive with the ball, Jose. He's a beautiful passer. Got a great range. And he's fought relegation how many years with Nottingham Forest? G'day,
Cockney Johnny Vasco says, happy birthday, Jose. May have a lovely day. Muchas gracias, amigo. Or hermano.
That is a great handle, eh? Cockney Johnny Vasco.
And it says, good morning, David, mate.
Yeah. I like some of the names coming through, Jose.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as Jose Eltel.
Eltel, yeah.
So how old are you?
You know how old I am because you told me earlier how much older I was than you. So you know how old I am. Charlie told me. I said it the once and the once only when I started the stream. And
Are you the godfather?
It doesn't need to be repeated over and over and over again.
I reckon you're the godfather. Well, I'm 55 in January.
Stay blessed, Mr. Shear. Stay blessed.
You're a good man. Hey, did Ash P get in contact with us?
Ash P was on the show the other night. Sorry, she commented on the other night, but Ash P sent me a birthday message this morning.
Oh, brilliant. How's she going?
Yeah, she's fine. She's back. She's got internet. So she will be, I would have thought that she would be around, hopefully, quite soon now. So
that's brilliant news.
Barry Easthorpe says that he doesn't want Gallagher at Chelsea reject. Ronnie is saying happy birthday, Jose. Thank you very much. 21 again, Jose. Yeah. Let's be saying Spain. 21 primaveras. David Clark, hi from Leicester. I hope everyone in the chat is well. I've just heard from.
G'day, Dave. I'm sorry about bad mouthing Madison the other night.
He says Tier 1 Romano that Spurs are not in contact with Juventus for Chiesa. Yeah, that's doing the rounds everywhere. At the end of the day, nothing at the moment is being leaked from Tottenham, David. And this is what we're discussing, that nothing's being leaked from Tottenham at all. So where you had in the nose saying 3 weeks ago that we were going for 3 players, them exact same in the nose are now saying that we're going for at least, we're going to go for 1 more attacker. I think Tottenham are just quiet in what they're doing. And as they're quiet in what they're doing, nobody actually knows what we're doing. Not even the fans. Sorry?
Isn't that a good thing?
Well, if you look at, and as I said, sorry, let me just take this comment and answer that. Spurs GCC, Graham says, many happy to returns, Jose, my friend. And G'day, David Cover. And AJ says, no to Gallagher, no to Neto, no to Chiesa. So, right, it goes back to what I said earlier, David, right? As fans, right, we look historically at our transfers and we say, right, and rightly so, we say, look, we've had no plan in the transfer window. We've gone in, we've gone and bought late buys, opportunistic buys, and we've had no plan, we've had no thought process at all. And that's what we've accused Tottenham of in the past. And when I say past, I'm saying recent past, yeah? So I'm not talking about, we did this 25 years ago.
Like last year.
Yeah, it's the well, I wouldn't say last year, I'll say a couple of years before that, but it's in the recent past, right? So we've accused Tottenham of doing that, right? Now, all of a sudden, I've said, and I've said, and hopefully, and Tottenham have said as well, there's been a plan in place, and there's a process, and there's a plan that we're following for this transfer window. Now, so we can't hit Tottenham with a stick about their previous misgivings in the transfer window and having no plans in that. And now that there is a plan in place, because it doesn't suit us, and because we don't know who's coming in that, we're now poo-pooing this plan. You can't have it both ways. What plan do you want? Do you want the plan that we're on now, where we're as quiet as a mouse and not saying anything to nobody? Or do you want the plan? Do you want the transfer window whereby we know that we're waiting till the last day of the transfer window, and then we'll buy players like Clinton NG. We'll bring in loan players like Jedson Fernandez and Carlos Vinicius. You know, and this is what we live with at the moment. However, I still maintain what I said earlier.
We just take more of our juniors, personally, Jose.
Do you think then, right, hold on, let me see. Sorry, Scott's Collar was saying, who do we want? Cottony Johnny Vasco saying, bloody lovely to see David on screen.
Yeah, I'll pay the $5 later, Cobber.
Lee Smithy Smith, happy birthday, Senor Jose, you young mucker, you.
Prue.
David Clark says, can somebody tell me who is that woman that sits next to Levy at all of our matches? Because she
That's on the colour.
Be there. If it's his missus,
Jose, can I tell you something? I was surprised at Levy's. I mean, I'm not being shortism here or dwarfism, but he's a short little bugger.
Who?
Levy. His luggage was taller than him. And I reckon he's Austin Powers mini-me.
Right. So,
sorry, that's
right. Plettigol, who's normally a tier 1 source, all right, has just said Tottenham hold concrete interest in signing Juventus winger Federico Chiesa. Talks have started with his agent, but no official negotiations at this stage. So you've got some people saying, yeah, we're interested in him, and others saying we're not. So it's like I've been saying recently, you know, the death of the transfer window for me has been by having social media, because I used to enjoy it before, like I said yesterday or the day before. Yesterday, sorry, I did a show yesterday, and 20 years ago yesterday, a chap turned up in a Volkswagen Beetle 30 years ago to the day yesterday and signed for Tottenham. We didn't know he was signing. It wasn't in the papers. It wasn't broken everywhere. And we signed Jurgen Klinsmann. When we signed Rafael van der Vaart, Van der Vaart came through the door as a last-minute opportunistic signing. We didn't know we were signing Van der Vaart. But now that you've got social media, everybody, and I keep saying this phrase, everybody's holding an AK and spraying bullets and hoping that someone gets hit.
Yeah.
So, Barry Easthorpe says, Man United, Chelsea and Arsenal all trying to hijack our transfers, I think. And then he says, hello, David Cobber. He says, Barry Easthorpe to you. David,
thanks, Barry.
Isn't it Cullen? I thought it was his wife more than it was Cullen that sat next to him, but they alternate. And Tequila 316, Tequila, happy birthday, Otto. Thank you very much, Tequila.
Good to see you, Tequila.
I've watched you on Derm's show. Yeah, it's interesting the AI that you've got.
Better look at me and I show my face.
Yeah, it's brilliant, the AI you've got there, and yeah, it's funny, makes me laugh. But nice to see you here, Tequila. Thank you for your felicitation. Sorry, where are we? Where are we? Just a minute.
I'll shut up and stop hijacking it.
You're not hijacking nothing. You carry on talking, mate. You're all right. You're cool. I like it when you talk. Right. Let me just have a look. Yeah, so as I said, when I created the show, right, and I wanted to do a birthday stream, I never ever thought in a month of Sundays that I'd be sitting here saying what I'm saying at the moment. I thought I might have been sitting here and we might have been talking about some recent transfer activity. But the recent transfer activity has been just the outgoings, which, again, I will reiterate, is good, because Tottenham have been stuck with players for seasons and seasons now. It probably all started when Poch was with us. That Poch initially got rid of a load of players and started creating his own squad. But then the players that were around when Poch was here are the ones that have been really hard to move on. So it's been a lot of it started in the era of Poch. So, I mean, we've still got Ben Davies and Sonny at the club. But people like Lloris, Dyer, Endon Bailey, some of the older brigade that we've got, they were all here when Poch was here. So we've had players that were at the club for years, and for years and years we were unable to move players on. All right, we're not getting sexy money for these players, but players are going out the door, which is good. Players are going out the door. So for that, I'm grateful, and I'm happy that we're doing that. But by the same token as well, we need to start looking at bringing players in.
Oh, for sure.
Because what will happen is you're going to have a lot of people here that turn around and say, although we've got good youngsters, the youngsters have applied and given a headache. If you've got a plan A, then you've got a plan A. If your plan B or your plan C was let's see how the youngsters do, then you don't jump from a plan A to a plan C. You meet somewhere in between, I would have thought. So, because I know there's people here that will turn around and say, yeah, but although we've got good youngsters, we need to bring some older heads into the team in order for them
And
to
I
rub.
agree with that.
But I would turn around and say, my thoughts, I will turn around and say, Vicario's an older head. I'm going to say Pedro Porro's played so many games, in first team football at Sporting and that.
Yeah.
And I believe he's won things at Sporting. You've got a World Cup and Copa America winning Romero. In midfield, you've got Lolo Bentancur, who's played in the Copa America and played for Juventus and stuff like that. You've got people like you've got Bissouma. Bissouma's been
at CB, even though he's hardly played there.
you've got Bissouma. You've got
The
Bissouma.
energy they're bringing the club.
Yeah, you've got Bissouma that's played so many games, first team football, that people can look up to.
Can I just say something? I reckon someone like Archie and that, he's going to help Bissouma no end, spur him on. Sarr can't be happy with that last game. I mean, it was a silly mistake, but it's going to spur. I just see a lot of positive in the club all of a sudden. And why is that? Why did the switch flick, do you reckon, Jose?
Why do what? Sorry, mate. Who switched?
Why do you reckon the flick switched with the youngsters? Is it because Ange always wanted that, gave him a year's grace, and then just to have a look at them?
Nah, I'll come to that. Let me just catch up with the chat and I'll answer that for you now.
Sorry, am I getting it?
Sorry. No. David Clark says the creche is being built as we speak for all these children we are signing, and the advert for a childminder is in the Telegraph. Oh yeah. Barry Aesop says it could be Amanda Staley, ex of Newcastle United. The Diddler. Good morning, the Diddler. He says Poch is one that brought in the likes of Sessignon. Yep. David Clark says, Barry, it's not because it's the same woman as 5 years ago. It's his missus. She looks more pissed off than Levy and the fans are, lol. Lily White, Robbie.
I agree with that one that you've just put in. Trust me, if we sign Tony and Eze, motivation's needed with Madison, and I fully agree. He is talented.
Lily White Lane, Robbie says, morning all. Happy birthday, Jose. Thank you very much, Robbie. Much appreciated from you. And Jamie Imber from Talking TV says, happy birthday, Jose. It's so hot. Off for my job interview that starts at 2 p.m. Wish me luck, Coys. Yeah, Jamie, I've been speaking to Jamie offline because Jamie's looking to get back into work. Jamie has had a horrific time the last couple
of Jamie.
And he's looking to get back into work. So, Jamie, I wish you all the very best. Let me know how you get on, mate. But yeah, you know that my thoughts are with you, and yeah, just let us know how you get on.
Daniel, have faith, mate.
And then you've got Angus McDowell saying Feliz cumpleaños. Angus, thank you very much, much appreciated, sir. David Clark says, trust me, if we sign Tony and Eze, you will see Madison come alive, and his true talent will come out. Daniel Coys, happy birthday, mate. Thank you, Daniel, much appreciated. There we go. We'll see. Jumping on. Clock is ticking, 30th of July, and still our only senior signing is Timo Werner. Well,
Can I answer to
sorry,
can I
he's
answer to
he's
Keeler?
not the only senior signing, Daniel, because the two
Yeah.
youngsters are senior signings as well, because they're not going into the academy. They will be playing
No.
in the first team. So the
That's
senior signings, mate, age-wise, you might say the older player is Timo Werner, but the other two that they've signed will be first team players, in the sense that they will be in and around the squad, whether they start in 11 in the squad for match days or in the whole the 25 in the squad, they'll be there or thereabouts. The two players, so they're all senior players.
Yeah.
And Angus says it's all right for a gunner to be here. Yes, Angus, you're more than welcome. You're more than
Yeah.
welcome. You're a good lad. We see you on the other chats, mate. You're a good lad.
You're a good man, Angus.
Cockney Johnny
Can I
Vasco
read
says,
this out, Tequila? From Tequila, Jose? Anyone think we care going to be challenging for the title like Ange says? I remember when Ange made that statement. What else was he going to say? No, we're going to be the also ranks. I think people take Ange a little bit too literally sometimes. That's just my opinion.
Cockney Johnny Vasco says, hit the likes, people. You've got to keep saying, anyone think, well, yeah, we just read that one. Angus says, Jose, what's your thoughts about us signing Calafiori? Look, Calafiori is a very, very good player. He looks so composed on the ball.
He's good looking too.
And he looks really good in possession and out possession.
Jealous.
It's interesting what Arsenal are going to do. I mean, yeah, you're always going to have, if you're playing a back four, you're always going to have four defenders that you pick. And I think Zinchenko's not the man at left back for you. I don't think Zinchenko sets the world alight. You also got Tierney there, who I don't think sets the world alight either. And you've got Calafiori, who's left-footed and can play left back or left centre half. If you went to a back five, Calafiori could fit in there as well. But you've also got Jurriën Timber coming back from injury, right? So it's going to be interesting what Arteta does with his defence, because you had a solid solid back four last season.
Yeah.
Does he keep the solid back four that you had? Because I'm forgetting you got Kivior there as well and Tomiyasu. So you had a solid back four on whoever played at left back for you, and it's just a case of, you know, are you dropping Gabriel for Calafiori? Is Calafiori going into left back?
Yeah.
Where does Jurriën Timber fit into this? You're not dropping what Ben White, are you? So it's interesting. Yeah, it adds depth to your defence, Angus, but it's just it's just who do you fit? Yeah, I know you hardly had a left back the whole of the season, Angus, and that's what I'm saying. Who fits there? Is it Calafiori that fits in that position, or Timber? Because one of the players is going to be. You've got 5 players there battling for 4 places. If I'm not including Tomiyasu, Kivior, Tierney, and Zinchenko, if you take them 4 out of the equation, you've still got 5 players battling for 4 places. So if Calafiori's going to left back, then Angus, right? Then what happens to Jurriën Timber? Because he's not going to be a happy chappy, is he? So yeah, it's good. He's a good player. I like him, and I think you've got a good sign in there. That conundrum has to be worked out by your manager, Arteta. I'm hopefully
Just hope he doesn't do a knee like Timber did.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate. I don't wish any injury on anyone.
No, nor do I.
Yeah, life.
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, no one said you did. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying no one wishes an injury on anyone, because at the end of the day,
I wish he had hassles talking for a little while. But anyway,
because at the end of the day, your health is a one-time.
Sorry. I don't
wish
wish any ill health on anyone.
No, your health is a one-time gig, and it doesn't matter whether you're a footballer, whether you're a farmer, whether you're a bricklayer. It doesn't matter what you are. At the end of the day, you've got to earn it. You earn a living, and your health is a one-time gig. And I hope that everybody, and I mean everyone, remains healthy and fit, because it's a bugger when you get ill.
Well, you don't want to win because of weakness anyway. Can I just ask a question of Tequila? Tequila, you're asking whether Ange was a little bit silly, so we're going to challenge for the league. I'll challenge you with what else was he supposed to say as a coach of a supposed top 6 club? That's all, Cobber. I'm not
talking TV. So Jamie says, "Thanks, guys. Best fan base. Love to the Spurs community. Just keep us informed. Let us know how you get on."
Big up, Jamie. That's Jamie, isn't it?
Yeah. AJ says, "Oops, let me go." AJ, with our current squad and acquisitions, I predict we finish 8th. Angus is saying, "Yeah, I agree. It's a good headache for Mikel." And he also says that when Timber was playing for us last season in pre-season, he was unbelievable. And that's what I'm saying. It's for Timber. Timber's a good player.
At least top 4, AJ.
Timber's a good player, and with Timber, he's got a headache. You have to fit. If you're in agreement, Angus, and Arsenal's your team, it's not my team, and I'm only an outsider viewing in. But if you're in agreement that your best 5 are going to be White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, and Timber.
The good look.
Right, and they're your 5, and then your others, the Zinchenko, Kivior, Tierney, and Tomiyasu are not in your best. Are not going to trouble them 5. Then the headache is how do you fit 5 into 4 is going to be a headache, or the headache for Arteta. But it's the kind of headache you want. I think you'd agree. It's the kind of headache you want. You want to have good players, and you want to have that kind of headache. You want to be posed them kind of questions as a manager, because if you're not posed them kind of questions, then you haven't got players pushing for places, and that's where I'm talking about with Tottenham. We're getting rid of players, but the players that we're bringing in, even the 2 youngsters at Tottenham that have come in, Bergwall and Gray, they're going to turn up trees, man. They're going to upset the normal because they haven't come in to bench warm. These 2 players have come in and they're hungry to be first team players, so they're going to upset the apple cart. So players like Saab, Bissouma, your Madisons, your Bentancurs, these 2 players have come in. They want to take the first team spot. So at the end of the day, it then pushes those around them to step up their game. And if you don't step up their game, then all the better for someone that wants to step up their game. So yeah, it's interesting.
Angus, I hope Arteta has a brain freeze.
Tequila says probably could have said top 4 rather than actual title change. Just think he's making a rod for his own back and fans will pounce on it. Just a warning. And we know, we've heard this already, Tequila. There are people out there that take everything literally that he says. David, I think top 4 is way off. The current squad we have isn't good enough.
Well, 1 point off this year. I don't see any difference. Sorry.
You have David Clark says, "Trust me, Spurs will win a European." David Clark says, "Trust me, Spurs will win a European trophy next season." And why are we talking about the scum on the podcast? Because over here, although we're first and foremost Tottenham, we welcome all fans from all teams, and it's they're part of our community as well. Our community is everybody, and we are inclusive on this channel. So please, you should know this, because we've got players. You don't say this when we get the other teams coming in. So at the end of the day, Angus is all right. Angus is a supporter of many channels. He's a good lad. He's a supporter of many channels.
Yeah.
Paul G, Jose, happy birthday, mate. Have a good one, Coys. And now you're crystal ball gazing, and I think you're far fetching, Angus. If we get Marino, Gyökeres, and the winger, that'll make us even stronger. I will tell you now that you're not getting all 3 of them. You won't get Marino, Gyökeres, and a winger. I know you won't get all 3. All right, I'm telling you now, you won't get all 3.
Gyökeres, Jose.
You what?
Gyökeres.
Yeah, no, but Angus has said these 3 players here. right? He said that Arsenal will, if we get Marino, Gyökeres, and the winger, right? And I'm saying to Angus, you won't get all three.
No.
You'll be lucky, Angus, I believe, to get one out of those three.
Jose, I've got a genuine football question. Why did Tierney go off the ball so much? And is he worth us having a look at?
I don't think Tierney. Tierney. I think is injury prone. He's been getting. As far as I'm aware, I think Tierney's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I think he's had a lot of injuries, Tierney.
He's a decent baller, wasn't he?
And that's not helped him out. I mean, he looked a really good player at Celtic, and that he's come to Arsenal. Started off all right at Arsenal, but I just injuries have got in the way, and then when he's come back from his injuries, they've hampered him even more. So, here we go.
Can I say this? Can I say this guy's name? It's the best name on all the channels. Dragon D's nuts. It's got to be said with an Aussie accent. Sorry, Jose.
Right. What have we got here? I honestly think we're selling Nketiah, Nelson, Reece Nelson, and Smith Rowe. Yeah, you can sell them all, and it's fine selling them on all Angus, but I don't think that you're going to get the three that you want to get in. I don't think you're getting Marino, Gyökeres, and if the winger's Rafinha, then it's Rafinha. I don't think you're getting all three in. It's my personal opinion. At the end of the day, I don't even know whether Arsenal will go for all three of them, but I don't think you'll get all three. Angus is saying that Tierney is going back to Celtic. I know this for a fact. He misses Scotland a lot. Dragons D says we at Spurs aim so high that even in failure there is an echo of glory. This is why we aim for the title.
Big up, Dragon.
And then he says, "G'day, Jose, g'day, David and Jose." You've got Angus is a good lad, just a bad taste in football teams. No one is perfect, and Angus is laughing. AJ,
here in Australia, we say taste buds up your ass. Sorry, Jose, was that too blue?
Nah, AJ says last season we finished 5th. Yes, we've signed a few players, but we've also sold some limited squad depth. They are young, and one of them was here last season. We will not be playing 2 games a week. And then Tequila says, no one misses Scotland, and I'm half Scottish.
You're a funny man, Tequila. You're a good man too.
Yeah, and I don't know where AJ is because I put the link in because AJ said he wanted to come on, but
that'd be cool. Do you want me to go?
No.
You just let me know.
No, you're all right. As I said today, it was about sharing with people.
That's cool. Hey, what sort of birthday cake you getting?
I don't know. They're taking me out. So today I'm going to, after I finish the stream.
It better be a big one, Jose.
After I finish the stream and my daughter gets back from her driving lesson, we're going out. They're taking me out to go and play crazy golf.
Oh, awesome! Are you any good?
Crazy golf? Crazy golf is crazy golf, isn't it? You don't have to be good at it. It's crazy golf.
I'm just thinking Happy Gilmore. I'm having Happy Gilmore thoughts.
I'm probably a similar. No, on crazy golf, you can't luzz the ball 400 yards down the track, can you? It's crazy golf, Well,
you're not going to pull a muscle then, Jose. So you'll be safe.
I'm doing that, and then when we get back from that, they're taking me for dinner to a steakhouse.
Oh, awesome, mate!
So
I'm not allowed to have fish at a steakhouse either, Jose. I know you're on that skip.
No. I will have red meat today.
Good man. Good man.
AJ, how are you, sir?
Big up, my man. Happy birthday, and big up to you, David Cobber. How you doing?
Good day, AJ Cobber.
Yeah, all good here, AJ. Thank you for your felicitations.
I was just hoping AJ wasn't going to have his. Sorry, I got mixed up. Jose wasn't going to have his health kick because I know he's on a health kick.
Kels says, "Good morning. You're not old, Jose.
G'day, Kels.
Happy birthday. Will the cake
And
cause the
g'day to
fire?"
all the rest of the Leeds crew, if they're out there.
And you got Dragon D's that says, "Happy birthday. Will the cake cause a fire hazard? I hope not." Gus Parker, many happy returns, mate. August upon us, still nothing done of any note. But another teenager, Levy got to replace Son, I suppose, for the Far East market. It's all going to type at North 17. Right, you've heard AJ, so you haven't actually spoken yet, but you've been commenting. You've heard what we've had to say. What's your take on it all, mate?
So far, I give this transfer window, as I was just saying, we've got 3 players in. We've got Bergvall, we've got Gray, and we've got Werner. Werner was here last season, and he didn't pull up any trees. He did all right until he got injured, but you know, he didn't take us to the next level. Bergvall looks a decent prospect, very good. Gray looks very good, but they're both very young, and it's going to be a baptism of fire dropping them in and expecting them to carry us forwards. As it stands, I would say the transfer window currently is at about a 3 or a 4. If we signed somebody like Eze, which I don't think we're going to do, I think it's too much money to initially lay out. I don't think Daniel Levy is interested in that deal at all. If we sign someone like an Ivan Toney, and we can bring in, it's difficult. Neto, I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. Too injury prone, especially for 50, 60 million. Absolutely not. Chiesa, if he was such hot property, why is his agent flying to England and trying to sell him to X, Y, and Z? Why are their clubs not queuing up to sign this man? People
is that happening, AJ, for sure?
People have it's been all over the media. It's rumours, but there are no suitors to at this moment that we know of. People have been saying that Chiesa was world class. He's never been world class. He's been a very, very good player.
Seasons.
A very good player, capable of brilliance. But most decent players are capable of brilliance. How many times do we see a player go on a mazy run and score a brilliant goal, never do it again? A player hit one from 40 yards, top bins, never do it again. The Premier League, not just the Premier League, but professional footballers are capable of brilliance. Doesn't make them world class. That term gets thrown around far too often for substandard players. Chiesa, at his best, is very, very, very good. But if you look through his figures, he's had 2 seasons where he performed in what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In 7 seasons, he's had 2.
Sorry, Uru, mate. Have a good day.
See you, bud. He's had 7 seasons, and only in seven seasons he's had 2 where he's posted decent numbers. And if you go, put it this way, I did a little bit of number crunching, yeah. Chiesa compared to Johnson. Now, I'm not saying that Johnson is as good as Chiesa, but you've got some of this fan base saying we need Chiesa. He's the benchmark. He's the next level, and Johnson is rubbish. I don't rate Johnson particularly, but this is what I've come up with. Since Johnson made his debut for Nottingham Forest, since he made his debut, he has played 143 games, scored 34 goals, and assisted 22. In that same time frame, Chiesa has played 134, so 9 games less. He has scored 1 less goal. He scored 33, and he has assisted 2 more. So the figures are not very different. They're very, very similar. And Chiesa is apparently the player we need to be going after, and he's going to move us on. But Johnson isn't good enough. The two that doesn't make any sense. I personally would like to see somebody like Ivan Toney come in. A solid.
Sorry, mate. This is from down under. Is AJ just coming into his 3rd season in the Premier League, or is it longer?
This is Johnson's third season in the Premier League, I do believe, because Nottingham Forest were in the Championship.
Well, that's
then they
not
came
bad
up.
for a young player. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my point. You've got some fans absolutely slating Johnson, saying he's crap, he's not good enough, and then saying we need to sign Chiesa. But over the same time period, it's marginal. Yes,
It is,
you have got slightly better figures for Chiesa, but we're being told that Chiesa is the benchmark and Johnson is rubbish. Surely there should be a much bigger
playing in the Farmers League.
There should be a much bigger gap between the two of them, shouldn't there?
Yeah.
And there really isn't. So no, Neto and Chiesa are far too injury prone. Yes, Chiesa is cheap.
Chiesa probably looks better on the eye with his scoring and that. But I mean, I'm not a Johnson's fan, or I'm not a Johnson out. He's who we signed, and he's a Spurs player, so we go for him.
Exactly. Yes, we can get better, but you can do that in virtually every position in the world.
Imagine what Johnson's going to do with more breather down his throat. Is that lad's really? Oh wow!
I hope he ups his game. I really do. I hope he does. And this is a season for him. Now he's established himself. Because it was his first season for Tottenham last year. Now he understands. He knows the style. He knows his teammates. Let's see.
And he has a proper pre-season under his belt this year, AJ, which cannot be undermined. You know, I mean, he didn't have a pre-season. He come in on the last league, and he's not the most confident lad, is he?
No, he's quite. He seems like quite a shy guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think
I don't mean to butt in, mate.
No, it's all right, mate. I think we're looking at two quality signings. If we were to get Eze, which I don't think will be done, and Ivan Toney, I would then say our window is probably round about a 7, because we've got two strong, reliable players that know the Premier League and we know that will perform at the highest level. And then we've got some decent youth players brought in as well as bringing players in from our academy. So as it stands, I reckon it's about a 3 or a 4 out of 10. But with the right acquisitions, I think you're looking at about at least a 7 out of 10 window.
Well, that's not bad halfway through the season.
So you've got Gary Hunter says, and I'm going to read Gary's first because Gary's put in quite a few now. It says, no English suitors. Napoli love him. So he's referring to Chiesa. Then he says, I think his agent has called up every single big 6 club. Then he says, no big 6 club has instigated interest. His agent is the one that's calling clubs.
100%.
And then he goes on to say, Ivan Toney is not the striker we need, and he doesn't fit us at all. So they're the comments that are coming in from Gary Hunter. Nice to have you here, Gary. Gus Parker then says,
good on you, Gary.
And may have to see it for what it is and just chuck all the youngsters in and dive behind the bench and hope. Dragons D, he apparently wants Man United because they can improve his profile. He's not coming for footballing reasons. Angus says, is there any news about the swap deal between Chelsea and Napoli for Osimhen and Lukaku? I don't think that's going to... Chelsea supporters say that's never going to happen. So that's all I can say on that. I'm not close to that. But from the Chelsea people that I know, they're all saying it's not going to happen. Osimhen's figures are just astronomical, and I don't think it's going to happen. Chelsea are in enough trouble as it is, and trying to offload players. The figures for Osimhen are astronomical. I don't think he's worth it, to be honest. I don't rate Osimhen. I never have done.
No, nor have I.
I don't rate Osimhen, and I really don't. And I don't think he will suit the Premier League. But anyway, it's up to Chelsea. Chelsea want to go for him, let him go for him. But as far as the Chelsea people that I know,
is John David the answer? I don't think he is, Jose. Is he?
Sorry,
David.
Jonathan David.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started on Jonathan David. Hold on. Johnson's an okay player.
Very ordinary.
We just paid double for what he's worth, is what Tequila's saying. And then he says reduce his fee by 50%, and that get the stick he gets. Trying to catch up. Gus Parker then says Johnson, another case of not what you are, but who you are. I'm afraid nepotism is big in football. Kel says that we could have Bamford, please. So Kel's is trying to offload Bamford to Tottenham.
Can I just say that with Gus Parker? I reckon the jury's still out with Johnson. I still think there's a very good player in there.
And you've got Gary Hunt that says, out of every single striker out there, Openda fits us like a glove. Just extremely expensive. What is extremely expensive nowadays? Because you can do these deals and pay them over the length of the contract. So what is extremely difficult about doing some of these signings? It's just not the Tottenham way, is it? But it shouldn't be difficult.
I think it's more the wages these days than the actual fee, isn't it? Because you can break down a 60, 70, 80 million pound fee over 4 years and pay it in installments. So straight away that's not a massive expenditure. That's not a massive outlay. But it's when you're looking to sign players and they're asking for, apparently Chiesa wants something like £300,000 for an injury-prone player. He wants £300,000 a week. Imagine that. You sign him, he's good for 2 months, gets an injury out the rest of the season, and you've got someone on your bench you're paying that much for. It's the salaries that are causing the issue, I feel. But I mean, we know Levy will, whatever the deal is, 100 million, which he'll never pay, 80 million, 60 million, that will get broken down as every other team does. That will get broken down into installments. So you can kind of find ways to generate the revenue for that. But it's the salary. If you're paying 250, 300, 350,000 pounds a week, you need that money on a weekly basis. And it's just, this is the issue. To sign the top quality players, that's the sort of figure, those are the figures you need to be hitting. And we don't do that. We're not going to do that. We never have done that. So that puts us behind the likes of Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool, City, because we're always going to be playing catch up, because we will not dip our hands in our pockets to the same lengths that they will.
Interesting. Gary says Leipzig won 90 million plus. Tequila says not sure Levy will ever sanction anything over 60 million ever again because of Dombele.
How can Tony, that's just come off a ban, how can he try and command 300,000 a week? I feel that's sort of like a bit of ingenuous crap from the media. Just saying.
Tequila says rules out most of us ready-made top-class players. Angus says, like we're doing with Rice, paying in installments over 3 years. I think a lot of clubs, Angus, pay over the. If you sign a player and you're going to bring him in on a 6-year contract, Chelsea started all this. But if you're going to bring him in on a 6-year contract or a 5-year contract or whatever it is the contract may be, you can pay that along the terms of that the contract. With West Ham might have signed Rice on a 5-year contract, and West Ham said no, we want it in 3 installments, which is fair enough. You know, the selling club can get it done the way that they want it done. So,
which is fair enough. You know,
Gary Hunter says tons of clubs doing release clauses these days that counters this installments arguments. And Kells is telling Gary that Bamford is a terrible player. For me, only Division 2 quality, but he has this stupid contract at Leeds that they can't afford to break. Gary says Openda has a clause, Gokares has a clause, Sesko has a clause, and Eze has a clause. And then Gus says, exactly, we won't do it. That's why the stadium was a con. And Angus is then saying,
fair enough.
When was the last
Is that
time
going to get us points, though?
Say it again.
Thing with this Levy thing is all his shenanigans and goings on. What does that do for us on the pitch?
In what sense, mate?
Well, Nah, forget it. I'll talk to you later about it. It's just, is he backing us or what? I'm a little bit confused because of there's the lack of signings and things, but I'm trying to keep it sort of like real.
So at the end of the day, like I said at the start, David,
I just don't know.
like I said at the start, right, of the show, I never thought I'd be doing this on the 30th of July, my birthday, and we're discussing. I thought that we would have more signings in than what we actually have at the moment. And all I'm saying is that, and all I've said is that the reporters that were reporting 3 weeks ago. So bear in mind, we'd already bought Archie Gray because Bergvall was bought in January. Yeah, he may have come to the club in the summer, but we bought Bergvall in January.
Wasn't he?
We bought Bergvall in January. So the only player that we've bought this summer, for all intents and purposes, is Gray so far. Gray was bought. After Gray was bought, all the top tier journos, or that's what they call themselves, they all said Tottenham are going for 3 more players. Tottenham have a big pot of money and are prepared to spend big. This is what they were saying 3 weeks ago. Now, the journos that were saying this 3 weeks ago, in the last 24 hours, are reporting that Tottenham may go for just one further attacking player. And what I said at the start of the show, and whether this is right or wrong, I don't know, because I'm speculating like everybody else is. And my speculation is at the moment, Tottenham seem to be under the radar, and no stories are coming out from Tottenham. All the stories are coming out from agents, from foreign press, and in the nose. And for me, they're all spraying bullets with their AK-47s, hoping something hits and something lands. So
I agree with that.
Postecoglou said 3 days ago that there was a plan in place, and
I still think we'll get 3.
And that they're still on plan A, is what he said the other day.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the other thing I will say is that there's a narrative that some people are pushing out about, yeah, we're only going for youngsters because he's not being backed, blah, blah, blah. However, there was an interview that Daniel Levy did when he first took on Ange Postecoglou. And I can't find it now, but I had it the other day and I should have saved it. There was an interview that Levy did, right? And he talked about bringing Ange in, and he said the one thing with Ange is Ange can work with young players. So he said this.
Us Aussies have said that all the time, Jose.
Sorry?
Us Aussies have said that all the time. I mean, I've had some trolls say that us Aussies don't have any sort of critical thinking or anything. But we've always known that Ange works with young players because that's all the choice that the Aussie national team had.
Right. So, as I said, so people push the
So I
narrative.
do believe that. That's what I'm trying to get at, Jose.
People push the narrative, and like I keep saying, a lot of people will use. It's interesting because AJ used some facts on Chiesa and Brennan Johnson, right? So people use the stats and facts to serve their narrative.
That was right too, AJ, by the way.
So they use the stats to serve the narrative is what a lot of people do. So people saying that Levy's not backing Ange and stuff like that. Well, then if you go to his interview when he first brought Ange in, the interview, and I think it was Oxford, whoever it was, he was with an audience of people, and he was talking. And his words were, "We've brought Ange in, and we know that Ange is really good at working with youngsters." So he said this at the moment Ange was brought in. So Ange has been with us for just over 12 months. So this interview must have taken place a year ago. All of a sudden, we're bringing in youngsters, and everyone's going, "Well, you never used them last year." Now, it's for you two, and I'll pose it to you two, because you asked a question earlier, David, right?
Yep.
You said Ange didn't give them a chance last year, the youngsters. Why is it all of a sudden the youngsters have got a chance this year?
He had to have a look at the youngsters.
And well, it's not just the youngsters. I think he's had to have a look at the whole squad to see.
That's right.
To see,
and that's why he did what he did with the Fulham squad with the League Cup. You know, everyone says, "Oh, I didn't give him a chance." It's not as if we lost 5-0. We didn't have a pre-season last year. I've said this time and time again. We didn't have a pre-season. You know, in Aussie rules, you need a pre-season, mate. That determines your base throughout the year. Through the cold months when you're digging deep for a win or a draw. And we didn't have it last year. I reckon it's going to be different this year. And I'm a happy clapper with that. I'm sorry. And he's had a good hard look at the youth. And look what's happening. Hello. Everyone tries to preempt Ange. I can't. He's a Greek stubborn male. And I love that in him. Doesn't mean that we all know what he's thinking or doing.
So Cottney Johnny Vasquez says, I'm like David, I'm confused with all this. Angus is saying, I'm so shocked and isn't going for any Celtic players. It was interesting because nobody's gone for any Celtic players, Angus. So it's not just Ange. If they were that good, then why ain't other clubs going for these Celtic players as well? Because no one else has gone for the Celtic players. Kuriashi, for Hatate, O'Reilly, all these players are currently all these players are currently still at Celtic, and their season kicks off next Saturday. And they're all still this. Go on.
With the youth, you can't just. It's clear to see that since Andrew's come in, the football, his style has been implemented throughout the ages. It's been the senior squad, the under 21s, the under 18s. He's got everyone playing the same style, the same brand of football, so that when the option comes to call them up, they know what they're doing. It's an easier transition to make and to figure out whether or not they can actually make that step. If they can't play the football at youth level, they're not going to be able to play at senior level. Also, he's had to look at the whole squad. He's had to figure out who can play, who can't, where do I need to strengthen? Can I rely on the youngsters in that position, or do I need to buy quality proven players? So it's taken him a season to have a decent look. Yes, he's stubborn. Yes, he's made mistakes, but show me a manager that hasn't made mistakes. Show me a manager that's made every call correctly, never made a mistake, never signed a dud, never lost a game. Show me a manager, any manager in world football, other than Sam Allardyce, and his 100% England record. Show me any club manager that has never made a mistake. It happens. They all think they know what they're doing. They all get bogged down in their ideals and how they're going to play, and it's the stubbornness. Because guess what? When you're hired by a football club to manage that club, you've earned the right to be, I'm the manager. This is how I'm going to do things. You then have to adapt if certain things don't work out. He's had a season. He's figured out who he needs, what he needs, and he's watched the young players play the style that he wants in the team. Now he's knowing who can he trust, who can he call on. Mikey Moore looks solid when he plays. Every time that boy has got on the pitch, he has looked incredible. Yes, okay, the caliber of the opposition could be higher, but pre-season, playing against teams that are further on than we are, and he has absolutely stood up. Bergval's looked very, very good. Gray has looked very, very good. These are three players that I think are going to make the transition and going to be included in the first team to some degree for the upcoming season. Whether they'll get loads and loads of minutes, I don't know. But they'll definitely be in and around the reckoning. So, yeah, that's why I think it's taken a season. There's no point in pulling them out. Your last season, they were learning the style. They were learning how to play. So you're going to then take them out of that setup and throw them into the limelight, the spotlight, and say to them, right, go on then. I know you've only been practicing this for 3 months. I know this is new to you. So that's a big enough step up anyway. But guess what? Now you're on the pitch in front of 62,000 people and they all expect you to hit the ground running. It's too much too soon. I think he's done it the right way. I think this will be the season where the youth are implemented. And personally, I'm happy with that.
Cool. Right, let me just
Then-
go catch up with the chat and then I can come back to you.
Sorry.
Gus Parker says, most have realised Levy is not in it for football by now. I've been banging on about that for 10 years plus. And that's coming in from Gus Parker. Tequila says, is that the same interview Levy said we've got our Tottenham back? No, because the Tottenham back interview was further back than a year ago. Cockney Johnny Vasco says, all said and done, Levy is good at business. Let's hope Ange can help us out. But then Levy brought in Ange for a reason. Youth. Graham says, if I was to ask you which 3 biscuits, or bickies, as he says it, to have with a cuppa, how long before you all agree? Multiply that by 1,000. It will give you an indication of how complicated it is to negotiate a transfer. Angus is saying it's just rinse and repeat every season for yous until you get Levy out, nothing will change. Kells is saying, at least you bought somebody. My Liverpool friends are really worried because they've bought nobody. With Liverpool, Slot has turned around and said that he wanted to play some pre-season, get a look at his players now, and when he did, they would come back. So when they come, when he had a look at them, they would look to see whether they need to dip into the transfer market or not. You just got to remember that Liverpool bought all their midfield. Liverpool was set for strikers the season before because they bought them. Last season they bought all their midfielders in because they had to replace their midfield. So at the end of the day, do Liverpool need much tinkering? I don't know. Only Liverpool will know. Got Jess is here saying, happy birthday, Jose. Thank you very much, Jess, for your felicitations. I hope you are well, my dear. Gus Parker says, that's telling Jose it's another project. Perpetual future, carrot dangling. Even United had Keane, Cantona, Bruce, etc. in '93 with the kids. Angus says, Matt O'Reilly, there are loads of teams interested in him, and I guarantee if you signed him, he would walk into your team. Tequila is telling us that he's never ever made a mistake on Football Manager. Good morning, Stu. How are you, mate? It says, hi, Jose. Can't stop. Happy birthday, mate. Have a great show. I'll watch as soon as you can. Thank you very much, Stu, for even popping in. God bless you, mate. Take care. I hope you and the family are well. Gus Parker, Mikey looks like he could be a player. He can't carry a football club, though. He's barely 17, isn't he? Right. So what I'm going to say, right, to you guys, right, is David has already answered it, AJ, but for you, because I've not heard your comments on it, do you think that the 2 young'uns in Bergvall and Gray, do you think they've come in to pad the squad up, or do you think they've come in to affect the first team?
I think they're coming to affect the first team. I think it's fresh blood. They're exciting. They're exciting. They're hungry. They're with the case of Gray. He's proven that at Leeds he was the main man. He was solid. He was reliable. So with him, it's less of a gamble. With Bergvall, obviously the league he was playing in isn't brilliant. So, but you can only judge yourself on the players around you, and he stood out. And in the pre-season matches so far, Bergvall he's like whack-a-mole, isn't he? He's popped up absolutely everywhere. He's on the left, he's on the right, he's up the front, he's in middle, he's dropped back, he's always looking.
He's adjusted very well, hasn't he, AJ?
He has. So he's made that step, which I think is much more of a gamble with him than Gray, because Gray kind of is used to the English game. I think both of them have impressed. I think they're both gonna. I think they won't start the game. I don't think they'll start Leicester. I don't think they'll start. They won't be down to start any of the first 4, 5, 6 games. But
it won't be that drop, will there? When they do come on, it won't be that drop anymore.
Exactly that. But also, the second Basuma has a crap game. The second Bentancur has a crap game. The second Sarr isn't performing. It will be a case of, right, bang, get these on. And then you will have Basuma, Sarr, Bentancur all going, actually, we can't afford to play 2, 3, 4 bad games. We can't afford to half-arse it. we need to be at it 100%, or these guys, these young, hungry guys, are going to come in and take our place. So hopefully it does then elevate the level of the squad and pad out the squad to that degree. But I initially think they've been brought in to establish themselves in the first team.
Okay. Because my thoughts, I don't know if you heard my thoughts, AJ. Go on.
Spence at right back, Porro challenging with the right wing, and Kulu challenging Madison. Would that have the same effect, Jose?
So you're saying that Spence to play at right back and Porro to challenge on the right wing?
Yeah. And maybe Kulu challenging in the middle with Madison.
Well, the one thing that we know about Postecoglou is Postecoglou wants people to be versatile, right? There's been a lot of people. There's been a lot of people that have said that they believe that that Porro should be playing further up the pitch, because Porro at Sporting played right wing back, and he probably attacked a lot more in that team than what he defended. I feel that in this last year, since Postecoglou and the team have been with him, I think his defensive qualities have improved 300% from when he first came to the club. I'm not going to say that he's stronger defensively than what he is offensively, but the gap has certainly been tightened in the coaching that he's been given, because in the last year he has improved a lot defensively. What will remain to be seen for him is, has he improved enough to get into the Spain squad? And that'll be telling for me, because Jesus Navas, who played instead of him in the Euros, 38 now, and I don't think he'll be in the squads going forward in the future for Spain. So there is a space for someone on the right, and I'm hoping that Porro now gets that berth. There's a possibility that we could have change-ups in the team.
We got Mikey Moore as well.
But then
We got Mikey Moore on the right as well.
Yeah, but today we've had links again to Michael Coyote of Fiorentina, I think. Youngster, plays at right back. 20 million euros they're quoting again, and we've got lazy journalism again, and it's a lot of the Italian journalists that are saying that Tottenham are interested in him. Now, if Tottenham were interested in him, then where does that leave Spence, is what I would say. So, I don't know. At the end of the day, for me,
is he better than Spence, Jose, that guy?
I don't know. I've never seen him play. I've never seen him play. He's a 20-year-old, 19, 20-year-old. I've never seen him play. But what I'm going to say is that my belief is that your Gray and Bergvall have been brought in to affect the first team. Gray and Bergvall but they've got the attributes, and they've got the skill sets and the techniques that Postecoglou wants. Now, Postecoglou, people need to remember, was signed on a 4-year contract. And you've got to be careful what you wish for sometimes, because people were accusing Tottenham of being narrow-minded and short-sighted by signing managers on 18-month contracts. We've now given someone a 4-year contract. Let him see his contract out.
A 4-year contract.
Let him see his 4-year contract out. And if you're giving him a 4-year contract, it's because you're going to go on a journey with him, right? And he believes that these two players have the skill sets and the technique and can fit the systems that he wants to play. They are that good, these two players, and they are that good already, that they will affect our first team. And they will end up pushing our first, they will end up pushing.
Harry Redknapp 4 years, didn't they?
They'll end up pushing Bissouma, Sarr, Bentancur. So at the end of the day, when you end up swapping people out in the game of football, when you get 5 substitutions, it then means that you don't get the massive drop-off. And what will happen is you'll have a starting 11, and there'll be people sitting on that bench and people not sitting on that bench who should all be hungry and eager to wear the shirt and get into the first 11. And that's what we want. We want competition. I don't think we had competition last year. Last year, we could always more or less predict the first 11 that we're going to play.
It was just a determination of who we wanted and who we didn't want. Hey, Jose.
Yeah. Ronnie's saying that Gray and Bergvall will play a lot of games. Kells
Thank
is saying Gray is set for your first team. An England call up this year. The young lad is going to be a superstar. And these people have watched him play at Leeds, albeit in the Championship. People keep saying, but at the end of the day, if people listen to my streams when I was talking about the value of Gray, when people were saying that Gray was £50 million, and I was saying, well, if Adam Walton only went for 20, then how does that make Gray 50? But Gray and Wharton were the standout players in the Championship for youngsters anyway, or youngsters or even players. They were two standout players in the Championship last season. Crystal Palace obviously bought Wharton, and the rest is history. He played as soon as he came in the January transfer window. All right, they had a new manager, but he played for the rest of the season, and he also made England.
We had to pay 40 million for Gray.
He also
We had no choice with that, and I can just see onwards and upwards with him.
But we also
what makes me laugh is the same people that were dismayed and very vocal about the fact that we didn't sign Wharton are the same people that have said, why are we getting hyped up about Gray? And they were both the top tier talent in the league. We've signed one, haven't signed the other. And how do you then do that? How do you then complain that we haven't signed one, but when we do sign the other, you then say, oh, but he's only a youngster, let's not get ahead of ourselves? Well, you were getting ahead of yourselves when you were angry and pissed off that we hadn't signed Wharton. So swings and roundabouts, you either accept the fact that you're going to go in for youth and you're going to try to acquire the latest young talent, or you don't want that. You can't be pissed off when someone else does it, but when you do it, go, oh, well, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And no, I agree. As I said, to me,
big up Colin Blackshaw.
Yeah, they were two outstanding players in the Championship last season, and one got a move and one didn't. And the only argument I had at the time was Wharton, not at the time, but in this summer transfer window, was Wharton went for 20 million, and people at Leeds were saying that, and this is Leeds themselves. Leeds were looking for 50 million for Gray, and I was like, well, how can Gray go for 50 and Wharton went for 20 and played Premiership for 6 months and got in the England squad? I didn't quite understand the 20 and the 50 as the pricing, but at the end of the day, if you look at it, we actually got Gray for 30 because Rodon went the other way for 10. So,
and God bless Rodon too. I wish him the best of luck.
So at the end of the day, these two players, Archie Gray, we've ended up getting for 30, and I'm happy we've got him. I just wasn't sure whether any team was going to outlay 50 for him. That's all I was saying at the time. But I'm glad that we've got him. I think.
So it's basically 30 plus 10 for Rodon, Jose.
Yeah. So I'm tomorrow we've got a friendly, and we'll be kicking off in 24 hours and 8 minutes. Against the K1 League team, and for me tomorrow, I'd like to see Bergvall and Gray start. For me, I'd like to see them start. I want to see them playing instead of them playing with the kids, right? Because Gray's played from the first half in every game, but Bergvall's generally come on in the second half. All by one game, he's come on in the second half with all the kids, all the youngsters. I'd like to see Bergvall and Gray both start with the senior players, if you like, and see how they get on playing with the senior players. And I'd like to see whether they look any better than the senior players, if that makes any sense. They bring energy. Our youth players that have been playing, obviously, I've said this before, they're not battle scarred. They're not coming in. They're not battle scarred. They're not coming
got no mental scars. They're winners.
They're not coming in battle scarred. They haven't got all the baggage in that. And the exuberance of youth and that, and the energy that they've got, they seem to the eye to look much more positive and a lot more enlightened than what our senior players currently look. But that could still change. But yeah, I'd like to see them tomorrow. Both play and both start. Colin Blackshaw, good afternoon to you, sir. I hope you are well. And Kells says, if you hadn't paid 40 million, you would have got Gray for 30 million plus Rodon. So that's what I'm saying. It was 30 million plus Rodon. Angus McDowell saying, when do you play Bayern Munich? So we're in Korea at the moment, Angus, and tomorrow, in 24 hours from now, we will play the K1 League. And then on Saturday, we're still in Korea, and we play Bayern Munich, same time again, a midday kickoff. And then we fly back to England, and the following Saturday, which is a week before the Premiership starts, we then play Bayern Munich at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Can I just add something with Spence? He's not the last lad that's been told to go away to purgatory and improve his game or his attitude and come back and prove himself. And I reckon Ange, and I'm sorry to say this, it's the Aussie way of doing things, is Ange told him to piss off, sort his shit out, and come back a better player.
So Tygaro's just popped in and said, happy birthday to El Tel Cockerel. Big up, mate.
Big
and
up
you,
to you.
Tygaro. Thank you very much for popping in, mate. It's respect to you, sir. Gus Parker says, the issue is if Levy wanted to bring someone in to develop youth and build something that's great, I'm all for that, especially with the local lads. But we could have done that at White Hart Lane. And Angus is saying, you know that young winger you just signed, Ange tried to sign him at Celtic. If Ange tried to sign him at Celtic, the kid must have only been like 15 or 16 years of age. Because we've now got him at 18, and Ange left Celtic 2 years ago. Well, it'll be 2 years now.
Archie was a big Celtic fan and followed Ange for ages.
Right, so yeah, what I was saying earlier, I'm just reading the comment that someone's put on in share, and they're saying Paul O'Keefe says he's still hearing that 3 players are needed. So it's up to you to determine who you trust. In the sense of people, he still says it's 3, Paul O'Keefe and others, but people are now saying we're only bringing one attacker in. So yeah, we won't know until actually something happens. AJ, do you think anything's going to happen this week?
I don't know, mate. I genuinely don't know. I hate all the accounts because everyone's cousin's uncle's next door neighbour's cat. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone knows something. I'm always well dubious of the people that go, oh, I've been told because my mate's cousin's aunt's whatever works in the kitchen. And shut up. Like, if you knew this stuff, what the hell are you in? Why are you not? It angers me. All this talk, all this rubbish, all this crap. Just wait until your man is standing there holding a shirt. He signed, it's sealed, it's delivered. Right? Just wait until that's done. All these people, they're wrong far more than they're right. But as you said, when you use the analogy of the AK-47, you spray enough bullets around, you're going to hit something. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. I would like to think that we have got something in place. I talk to Jim a lot, and Jim tells me to keep the faith and to wait and see, be patient. And Jim absolutely thoroughly believes that we've got something in the pipeline ready to go and that it will get done. I'm hoping that's the case, because if we haven't, and we're going to wait until the last week of the window and try to just bring a bargain in, or actually we need a striker, he'll do
a statement signing.
Yeah, I don't want to be doing that. I want us to sign at least Ivan Toney, at least somebody that we know will score 15, 20 goals in the Premier League, someone that we know can do the job, is reliable, someone that gives us a different option. a different option. You play the ball up to him. We haven't got that. We haven't got anybody that you can play the ball up to and is strong enough to hold people off, turn and play other people in. We haven't had that since Kane left. And we need that. If you're too one-dimensional, people figure you out, and then you have issues. So I would like to think Tony will be in. Eze is not going to happen. He's just not. We're not going to lay the 50 or 55, 60 million out. But Crystal Palace are in the driving seat for that deal.
Right,
And Levy
Jay,
doesn't
what
like that.
happened to you?
Say
What
again?
happened? I mean, this is all speculation, and this is what drives me crazy. AJ says, Jose says the AK-47. You know, we've been done with 400. Linked to 400 players. What happens if we do sign Eze and we do sign Tony? It's just a lot of clickbaity crap as far as I'm concerned.
If
And
we
I'm
sign
sorry,
those two,
I have the Aussie terminology with that, and I don't mean to be so harsh.
if we signed Eze and Tony,
and this is what I said before, mate. In the Aussie rules side of things, and it is quite a big sport in Australia, a lot of things get done the last 2 days. That's what I'm trying.
Yeah, but here it needs to be different. You need to have plans here, David.
We've got to have rules too.
If we get Eze and Tony in, I think we finish fourth at the least, and I think we've got a decent shout at a trophy, the FA Cup or the League Cup, because you've got your youngsters in, and then they're hungry, they're ready, they're not scared, they want to play, they want the ball. They've shown that in pre-season. They don't shy away from tackles.
I agree with you with Eze because they lost Eloise, but who's to say it might be over 2 million?
We won't get Eze. If we got Eze and Tony, I think
I've lost Eloise because they're new coach.
We are in a very good position for the season if we get those two in, or two quality players that we know can produce to go along with the youngsters that we have. You can't just rely on the youngsters, and we've got rid of 3 players. If Gill's going, or Højbjerg's gone, Royale's gone. So we've got 3 in. One of them was already here last season. And we've got 3 out. So actually, the caliber of the team, the level of the team has risen slightly. But the issue is we're still very short on actual squad depth. We haven't got an abundance of quality players that are capable and ready to go. We had 1 game a week last season and we struggled. We fell off towards the end of the season. We're going to be playing in Europe. We want a decent cup run in both cups. We're going to be playing a hell of a lot more games. We need the squad to be able to compete on all fronts, and just having the youngsters in isn't going to be enough.
So Kel's saying, nice to see you all. Enjoy the rest of your birthday. I will. It's still only midday. Thank you, Kels, and see you soon. Kels, thank you for popping in and joining and commenting in the chat. It's much appreciated. I hope you have a splendid day as well. Tigara says, Anne said it in his last press conference. There is a lot of misinformation out there. We will know when we are told. In the meantime, keep smiling. Come on, you Spurs. Angus is saying, are you worried we're getting stronger and you're getting weaker? Angus, if you watch my shows, which I don't think you have, I've said this from day one in last season for all my shows. I said, I don't worry about the noise surrounding us. I only worry about what we do. So I don't care
Jose,
what other. Yeah.
Can I just ask Angus, how have we got weaker? Yes, Arsenal have improved. Arsenal have got another quality defender. But how have Tottenham, if Arsenal have improved, how are we weaker? We have got two quality youngsters in who have come in and have shown what they're worth pre-season. You know, they've put in a great performance. We've got Mikey Moore from our youth academy that hasn't looked out of place. Actually, he's shone like a fucking beacon, right? So we've got rid of Højbjerg that wasn't really played, wasn't really going to get game time. We've got rid of getting rid of Emerson Royale, who was a backup. We've got rid of Gill that wasn't even in the team. So we've got rid of people that we don't need and never played, and we've got in players that have already showed that they've got the ability. How have we weakened ourselves?
He will obviously have to respond on if he wants to respond, he'll do it in the chat. Nita says, "Hi Jose, happy birthday. Thank you very much, Nita. I hope you're well, sweetheart." Says, "Enjoy your day." Paul G says he didn't want to answer my question when you just answered Angus's question. Paul G was responding to him in the chat. I wasn't say right. Sorry, just the latest I've got. Obviously, Postecoglou must have spoken ahead of tomorrow's game. Excuse me. Right, and he says Timo is available. He trained the last couple of days. Richie and Destiny are still training. Destiny will hopefully join in training with the team tonight. Richie is probably still a few days away. Ash Phillips pulled up sore in training, so I'm not sure about him for tomorrow. We got Radu back a bit earlier in the week, so he's had a couple of sessions, so the numbers are slowly getting back up. With that, we could be seeing a doggy's first minutes tomorrow, from what that says. Timo may be getting some minutes tomorrow, from what that says. And Radu may get some minutes, from what that says. All good. Sounds good. What do you think, AJ?
I would have. It's a shame that he said that Ashley Phillips pulled up sore, because I would like to have seen how Phillips works alongside another defender. It's good putting him in against Gray, and it's good having him in against up alongside Skip, but you can't really work to the best of your ability, because you're going to be covering for a centre half is going to know how to play at centre half. Putting a midfielder in, you might have an understanding, you might think you know what is needed, but if it's not your position, if it's not second nature to you, then you're going to be pulled here, there, and everywhere. You're going to make mistakes, so your partner's going to have to cover for you. I would like to see what Phillips is capable of when he's got a solid, reliable centre half alongside him, and hopefully these two could build a partnership between them, like Romero and Van der Ven have. Because if you've got two solid, reliable, dependable partnerships at the heart of your defence, that can only be a good thing. Udogie coming back, I'd love to see him get a few minutes. I think he needs it. He needs to get some minutes under his belt before the start of the season. Davies as a replacement is not the answer. Davies he's another player we need to get rid of. He's just not good enough, in my opinion. It's good having them back, but it's incorporating them into the team in the right way. I don't want to see Gray playing at centre half anymore. You said earlier you want to see both him and Bergvall start. I'd like to see that, but I want to see Gray playing in his position. I don't want to see him playing out of position at centre half. I don't think it's educational for him, I suppose. It probably helps overall with a more defensive mindset, but you kind of nullify what he can do on the ball when he's back at the heart of defence. So I would like to see, however they want to do it, whether Phillips is available, whether Dragusin is ready to play 45, 60 minutes. I would like to see Bergvall and Gray in midfield, see what they're capable of.
Sorry, that was Mr. Shear in the background again. Right, so yeah, I do as well, AJ. What I want to see is Sorry, that's better. Well, yeah, AJ, same as me. What I want to see is I would like to see them playing in midfield. I want to see Gray and Bergvall start in midfield with one other. So whoever that may be, just start in midfield with one other, so we can get to see what they're like. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the K1 league or Bayern Munich, or 2 games against Bayern Munich, are the only ones that we've got left for the pre-season. So I'd like to see them both start in naturally midfield positions together, even if it's only for 45 minutes. I just want to see what they're about and what they look like with more senior players. Let me just have a look. So you've got Nita. I've said Nita already. Tigaro says, we are getting stronger than people think. More Gray, Bergvall and Donnelly looks like an absolute genius as an inverted left back. I said Donnelly slotted in well there. And at the end of the day, if he's going to provide competition for a doggy, it just saves you money this year. And this is what I keep saying about Spence as well. It's just saving you money where you can concentrate on other, unless an unbelievable deal comes up, it just means that we can concentrate further up the pitches where we need to be up further up the pitch. Your charger buggered up, David, and he said, send me the link, but you found the link. Very well done, you. Tagaro says, great. So I'm thinking means Gray will be our 6 and putting big pressure on Biss to perform. Dragons D Nuts wants to see Gray, Bergvall, and Sarr start. Interesting. I would have liked to see, me personally, I'd like to see Bergvall, Gray, and probably Madison. Because Bergvall for me can play 8 or 10, and if Madison ain't on it, well, mind you, got Kulu can oppose him for that slot as well.
No,
But
good.
Bergvall can push him there as well. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we are where we are today. Right, we're listening to what all the others are saying around us. There's a lot of noise around us at the moment from the ITKs, right? But I think to end the show, what I'm going to ask as a question of you both is, AJ, who do you want us to bring in? However many players you say, it's up to you. It's your call. How many players? Sorry, who do you want us to bring in before the end of the transfer window? I'm not going to say start of the season because 2 weeks away, but by the end of the transfer window, who should we have brought in? We know we're going to get some players going out between now and then, but who do you want brought in?
I would like to see Tony and Eze. I think they improve us. They improve the first team. They bring the level of the squad right up. If we don't get Tony Gikaris, I would like to see him up front, although he's a gamble. Can he do it in the Premier League? We don't know. But if we got Eze and Tony, 2 quality, reliable, regular Premier League footballers, I'd be happy with that. I would be happy to go into the season with that as a squad, and then you look again in January, see what's available. If you've got any injuries, then you can bring in who you need to cover or to strengthen. But yeah, if we could sign, because those are the 2 that haven't really gone away and that we've been linked with from the start or even before the window opened. So if we can get those 2, I'd be happy.
And the same to you, David. Who do you think we'll get, or who do you want us to get before the end of the transfer window? So it's a month away.
I've always said I don't like Tony coming in because of his baggage, and it's still baggage. He's asking for 300k, someone said, and we're not going to pay that. If he's willing to come in and get into the ethos that Ange wants, yeah, I'm all for it. As every day of the week, even though he's been injury prone, it's unreal. But if it's not Eze, I'd like Morgan Gibbs White. Sorry. but I think we can integrate a few more of the young players too.
Nita says, not going to worry myself too much just now about my beloved Spurs. Hashtag Ange in, let the season begin. Come on, you Spurs. Gus Parker says quality centre forward is where the big dosh is required. I just want to me, right? You have a plan A, which we believe that we're on at the moment. Oh, we've lost AJ. You have a plan A that I believe that we're on at the moment, right? And then you've got a plan B, which you must have had if you had different targets. And then the plan C must have been the kids. Or there could have been many plans, but the last of the plans, or there or thereabouts, would have been the kids. I think the kids have definitely thrown a spanner into the works.
Oh,
in the way that they've played so far. Let's remember, they played no Premiership teams. They're not competitive matches. They are pre-season.
But they've improved each match, Jose.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, as I said, I think the youngsters have thrown a spanner in the works.
Oh, big time.
And it remains to be seen what ends up happening at the start of the season. It's exactly what we need to wait and see.
Can I ask one big question? Does Lancashire go loan or below?
You must have heard my thoughts on it already. I believe that the two that go out on loan, if you're going to keep one behind,
yeah,
the one that gets kept is going to be Villiers for me, and the other two will go out on loan. I think personally, I'd like to see Scarlett. Scarlett didn't pull up trees at Ipswich. Remember, he played in the Championship last season, and he didn't play any game, getting next to no game time for Ipswich, who ended up winning the league, by the way. But he got next to no game time, and he came back to Tottenham, and it was good that he came back because we had injuries, and he came back and he got some minutes for us in the second half of last season. He's done really well. He's bulked himself up. He looks like a man rather than a boy now, and he does, Scarlett. He looks like a man rather than a boy. But I still look at it and I think to myself,
has he scored for Spurs at all, Jose?
Yeah, he has. He has one. I think he's got. Yeah, I think he has.
Don't get me wrong. He really does look good, but I was just asking out of my ignorance.
But the thing is that for me with Scarlett, he's been playing for the development under 20s for England under 20s. So therefore, he's not actually in the under 21s at the moment. Lancashire's got nowhere near the under 21s at the moment. But someone like Villiers has played for the under 21s in Argentina. Villiers has played first team football in Argentina.
Yeah,
was playing first team football before we bought him. I know the Argentinian league is different to the English league, but he was playing first team football. It's the same as Bergvall. Bergvall was playing in the Swedish league, but he was playing first team football. Archie Gray was playing in the Championship, but he was playing first team football. And that's
how good does Bergvall look? He's got no beard.
The important part of this is playing first team football. So they're not playing academy football; they're playing first team football.
Yeah,
Scarlett wasn't
against me.
Yeah, Scarlett was not playing first team football last season, right? He wasn't playing first team football because he didn't get a chance at Ipswich. So for me,
no,
I said on the show yesterday or the day before, I'd like to see the players get loan moves to English clubs. Now, with Scarlett, I said either he plays in the Championship or he plays for someone in the Premiership on loan. But by all accounts, Vitesse Arnhem in Holland have approached Tottenham about a season-long loan for him out in Holland. I think with Lancashire, you've got to turn around and think to yourself, he looks too good for the under 21s, and he's only 19. He's not even 20 or 21, so he's 2 years ahead of himself in the under 21s, and he looks really good. Albeit that's Premiership PL2, right? PL1 was won by Man United, and Man United had players like Kobe Minu and players like that playing for their Premiership PL1 team. So you got levels there, right? Now
Yeah.
with Lancashire, it's about Tottenham finding the right path for Lancashire and saying to themselves, we think at this stage of his development, Lancashire
Get
is
lucky, Ben.
Lancashire is good enough to be in League One, or Lancashire we believe is good enough to be in League Two, or
Say you
Lancashire
love me now. You can provide.
or Lancashire is good enough to be in the Championship. Tottenham have got to make that decision of where they believe
Yeah.
his level lies. Now, with some players, they may go out on a loan to League Two because you start them out there. If they have an impressive loan, the following year they get loaned out, they go up a league, and that it just depends where Tottenham want to pitch Lancashire. Where do they believe he needs to be pitched at? If it's in the Championship, then you know he's not, and he has a good loan. You know he's not too far from first team football at Tottenham. But
Copied that.
you've asked me a question, and I think that 2 of the 3 will definitely go out on loan. I'm not sure whether all 3 will go out on loan, but
Yeah.
two of the 3 will. And if I'm keeping one at Tottenham, it would be Valiz.
Do you know who we haven't talked about? Is Mikey Moore. Tonight, I mean.
But that's because he's not that good, though.
No, he's shocking.
He's an average player at least.
Well, that's right. I watched Hoddle when I first started, and I've done the replays on the matches that I watched. Geez, over 40 years ago, and my God, there was no fear. They played with no fear. They seemed to play so much better. They had more creativity. They had more license to kill, Jose. And I reckon that's what I'd give more. Just do your thing.
Me personally, obviously, Mikey Moore can't go out on loan and can't do anything anyway.
No,
he signs his first professional contract in 13 days on the 11th of August. He can sign his first professional contract.
Let's make sure he signs with us, eh?
Yeah, and so for me, it means that obviously he can't go out on loan. I think he's wasted going back into the academy football, and I think he's someone that will keep on the B list and will be kept around the first team squad. But I think there are other players as well that will be kept on the B list.
What the fuck?
Not quite sure what happened there and what I've said, but right, he'll come back when he's ready. So yeah, I would keep Mikey Moore around. It's obvious. And sorry, I'm not catching up with the channel. Afternoon, everyone. Happy birthday, Mr. Jose. It's bloody hot. It certainly is, Ben. And Ben says also, I'm starting to get very angry with the ITKs and the club. We are wasting the window. It depends how you look at it, Ben. At the end of the day, we discussed this. I said at the start of the show, all the in the knows were saying 3 weeks ago after we had signed Gray that 3 more were coming in, and all of a sudden the same people, or more or less the same people, are all now saying it's only 1 more attacking signing we're making. But on the good old shitter today, they've turned around and said Paul O'Keefe still maintains it's 3. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see what players do come in between now and the end of the transfer window. And I do say the end of the transfer window as opposed to start of the season, because that's how I said I would judge it. So basically, I've still got 30 days or 31 days to judge this transfer window. But anyway, with that being said, I've got to come to an end to this because it's coming up to an hour and 50 minutes. Can I thank each and every one of you for coming in today, saying happy birthday to me, getting involved in the chat, and that it's much appreciated. You guys are the best, and you know this because I tell you all the time. Shows can't be done without people like you. So with that being said, just a reminder to everyone that 24 hours from now, we would have already kicked off. We'd be 23 minutes into our game against the K1 League, because tomorrow's kickoff is at midday. I will be doing a watch along from 11:30 in the morning here on LTEL. And I believe that I've been booked in to do the pre-pump up show on the Irish Hotspur at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's going to be a long day again for me tomorrow. Irish Hotspur first at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then on mine at 11:30. So hopefully we'll get to see some of you tomorrow. And all I'll say is, for the people that are in the UK, keep hydrated. Today is the warmest day of the year, so keep hydrated. I will certainly keep hydrated. I'm now off to go and play golf with, crazy golf with my wife and my daughters, which is the first part of what we're doing today for my birthday. And then I'm looking forward to being taken to the steakhouse later on with them as well. So Cockney Johnny Vasco says, have a good one. I'm off to Romney Marshes to chill. Chill. I don't know about chill, Cockney, because it's bloody hot in England today. And yes, Joris is here. Hello, Joris says, hey, Jose, happy birthday, amigo. You ain't that old, matey, and you still got it on the pitch. You're in your prime. Yeah, do you know what? Yesterday was obviously the last day of my 55th birthday. And yesterday I played football, because people know I play football on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday, but I do a double game on a Friday. But yesterday we lost 4-3, and I scored 2 goals yesterday, although we lost 4-3. Didn't get another chance to try and grab a hat-trick, but suffice to say, last night playing football was kicked off at 6 o'clock in the evening. It was really warm yesterday and humid and sticky as well, but I managed to get past it. It's interesting because you creak and you ache as you get older, but when it's warm, your bones feel or your bones move and don't grind as much, which is good. So yeah, but anyway, as I said, thank you very much everyone for joining today. Keep safe and healthy in whatever you choose to do for the rest of the day, and keep hydrated. And I wish each and every one of you all the very, very best. And as I said, tomorrow be back on to do the watch along against the K1 League. So without further ado, thank you very much, everyone. In Ange I trust, and it's come on, you mighty Spurs.